This Thursday, December 28th, NBA Betting Picks edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And we're also brought to you by SGPN's Ultimate New Year's Eve Party. Hop on Sports Gambling Podcast YouTube channel for a truly DGen afternoon complete with drafts, pick'ems, prizes, live sweats, and more. The fun starts at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time, New Year's Eve. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Thursday, December the 28th, currently 11:02 on the East Coast. Here to get into our Thursday NBA betting picks, and we'll recap what we saw in the association last night. But joining me, as usual, it's the Don of the NBA Gambling Podcast. It's the man himself, Ryan Rich Fat Baby McKee. McKee, how's it going?
What's up? What's up? Good to be here. The machine. I'm good to be my machine Thursdays, and we've been having Munaf on the Steffi Small show too, and she's giving you the nickname Money's Munaf, which I like too. Money's Munaf, the machine. I mean, which do you prefer? I mean, I gave you the machine a while ago because you were such a grinder.
The machine started, God, this was it's been a couple of years now. Got done. That one kind of stuck around because I think a lot of people have started using that as well. But I like Steffi's as well, man. She's a creative mind. So at least being on her show.
Check out Steffi Small's show on YouTube if you haven't yet. We have Munaf on every Friday to talk NFL player props with Steffi, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty well with our player props for the NFL. So McKee mentioned, we're usually around 3:30 Eastern time, in that range on Fridays.
Yep.
Talking NFL
every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Munaf comes around 3:30 on Fridays. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, and she's going to be joining me tomorrow on the NFL Propcast. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of underdog entries for the weekend and doing some giveaways. So she's going to come on and we'll put together some entries on Underdog Fantasy for the Giants and the Rams game. So definitely check socials and we will have a schedule up there. Steffi's going to be joining for sure. But McKee, hey, our two teams last night squared off in my part of the world, and we got absolutely curb stomped.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? It has not been a great season for the Suns overall, so I'll take these wins where you get them. I mean, Woj came out before the Christmas Day games and said that Kevin Durant already reported not happy in Phoenix, and Phoenix is quote-unquote monitoring the situation. But yeah, man, he looked great last night. Was his triple-double and career high 16 assists. I mean, maybe, hopefully Phoenix is getting it together on my account, but sorry we had to do it against your team.
Oh, it's okay. We were on a back-to-back situation, and as great as our defense was playing to start the season, they have really regressed over the last, I don't say at least the last 2 weeks, but they've been just giving up points. But I thought I was on the Suns last night. I bet the Suns -3. I took their team total to go over as well. And you mentioned it, that Kevin Durant had the triple-double, career high 16 assists. It was the ultimate Eric Gordon revenge game as well.
Yeah.
for the
Yeah. What
Phoenix
did you have? Like
Suns.
7 3-pointers or something like that?
Yeah, I think I saw that 6 of 9. I didn't finish watching the game because they were down by like double digits, like entering the fourth
Yeah.
quarter, and
Wasn't
then
a great it wasn't an exciting game.
yeah, but yeah, and also saw Bradley Beal may be back on Friday. Was so it's Shumps reported this morning.
We'll
So
see for how long. Maybe
yeah,
see if we can get like string more than 2 games together here.
yeah, we'll see if he can play more than 2 games before he hopefully doesn't get injured for your sake. But outside of our teams facing off last time, McKee, anything else that kind of stood out to you?
I mean, the Cavaliers beat the Mavericks. I mean, it was a close game. That was a good game. I mean, Luka went off yet again. We'll talk more about that because the Mavericks are on a back-to-back and how great Luka has been playing. But yeah, I mean, something to just monitor that they were the Mavs have been really good. I mean, just fucking kicked the Suns' ass on Christmas Day, even though the score might look a little closer than what the game felt like. But yeah, that was just something to monitor, I guess.
Yeah, and I think nothing really surprised me last night. Like the Cavs that came from behind, like you mentioned against Dallas. I know we'll talk about Dallas here. Today they are in Minnesota on a back-to-back situation, but um, Philly bounced back very nicely without Joel Embiid. I know that they had lost to Miami on Christmas Day. Without Joel Embiid, they went into Orlando, led by was it Tobias Harris again last night for them? He had 22 points. Tyrese Maxey bounced back nicely. He had 23. DeAnthony Milton had 22. So a nice victory there for the Philadelphia 76ers against the Orlando Magic. But other than that, McKee, it looked pretty standard to me last night. Anything else you want to mention before we get into the games?
Now, let's get into it. We've got an 8-game slate. Looking forward to talking about all these games.
Yeah, let's get into the first one here. And we got maybe not a lot to talk about here, but the Detroit Pistons, they are in Boston to take on the Celtics. This number actually opened up in favor of the Boston Celtics in a number of 18. And seems like some money has come in on
I saw it open up at like 18.5. I mean, it's money's come in on the Pistons, huh?
Yeah. Total sitting at 231.5. Let me get to the injury report here for both of these teams because yesterday did see some names obviously pop up for the Boston Celtics. But let me start with the road team here. The Detroit Pistons, they are going to be without Isaiah Stewart and Monte Morris. Killian Hayes is probable, and Asur Thompson is probable as well. For the Boston Celtics, we have questionable tags on Jaylen Brown, on Jason Tatum, and those are the two significant names that are on the injury report for the Celtics. So keep that in mind for the Celtics if you are going to be betting them tonight. They are on a front end of a back-to-back. They have obviously the Pistons tonight, and then they welcome the Toronto Raptors to their building. So a home and a home back-to-back for the Boston Celtics. But McKee, can you make a case here for the Detroit Pistons to at least cover this number?
I mean, I really can't. I mean, other than money coming in on the Pistons and pushing that number down, I kind of like the Celtics here to cover. Detroit 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games, and Boston 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games. I mean, Boston's just been playing great, and the Pistons have been the Pistons. I mean, I don't know where their win is going to come from when it finally does come. It's just been brutal to watch that team this year. I barely put them on my league pass because it's just been so lame. So I don't feel great about laying 17 points, but I feel like the Celtics could just blow them out here. What am I wrong?
I mean, I could make a case for the Detroit Pistons, like you mentioned. Again, this team has just been struggling offensively, and obviously defensively, they just have not been very good. I don't know how to even make a case for the Detroit Pistons. The only possibility would be that, hey, maybe Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown sit here tonight, but I still think that the Pistons have enough the Celtics have enough to offset if one of those guys do sit here tonight with Drew Holiday, with Porzingis, with Horford, with Derek White. I mean, the list goes on and on for the Boston Celtics. But I know
Probably
that
the
Terrell would,
deepest team in the NBA right now.
yeah, 100%. I know Terrell would come on here and would be all over the Pistons, and it would be he would say this would be the Boston Celtics if they lose here tonight to the Detroit Pistons. But I can only look at it at the Boston Celtics way here as well, whether it's first quarter, first half.
I'm not going to bet it, but I am
Yeah.
definitely leaning. I don't like to bet anything giving up 17 points, but I will say that I'm leaning Celtics here.
100%. Total sitting at 231.5 in this game here, McKee. I will say this before you give your handicap: the Pistons are 10-5 to the over in their road games thus far this season. But what are you thinking about the total here?
Yeah, the total's gone over in 5 of Boston's last 7 games against Detroit. Gone over 10 of Boston's last 12 games when playing at home against Detroit specifically. The overs, like you said, the over's been hitting in Detroit. This was 4 in last 5. So I like the over here. I like the over a lot better than taking a side here. What are you thinking?
I think so too. I think that even if, like we mentioned, if one of the two guys or both guys don't play here tonight, Pistons defense has just been absolutely putrid. They have guys that can score the Pistons. You know, we talked about the Cades of the world, and they got Bogdanovich back. Those guys can fill up the basket as well. They should have some advantages inside, at least getting some baskets with Jalen Duren. I know Isaiah Stewart's not playing here tonight, but Marvin Bagley coming off of the bench. So I think we do see points in this game. So I do like the over, maybe more so the Celtics team total to go over.
I was going to say the team total for the Celtics. I definitely like looking at that.
Yeah, 100%. So that's the way I would look at it. Player props in this game. Pat pointing out he likes Cade over 6.5 assists. But McKee, what are you looking at? Feel like any player props?
Yeah, it's funny that he mentioned that because I actually like the other way on Cade, and surprisingly, I have a lot of unders for player props today. Cade has been looking good, but he has averaged only 2 assists against the Celtics in his career. That's 4.5 fewer than the prop. He's been under this 3 of the last 5 games. And he's only he's dished out more than 6.5 assists 16 times this season. So that's about half of his games overall. But I think that the Celtics put the clamps on Cade because he's the only player that really is worth a damn on the Pistons this season. So like him to get under that 6.5 assists tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be matched up with Drew Holiday as well, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I know the argument people make about Drew Holiday is that, he's, a year older and maybe he doesn't have that same defensive intensity that he's possessed. Great. Yeah, but I think he's obviously still great. He's obviously a championship caliber point guard. But you take a look at point guards this season against Drew Holiday. There's only been 3 point guards that have gone over this number of 6.5, and that's 4 point guards. That's been Tyus Jones, LaMelo Ball, Chris Paul, and that was a game where Draymond was injured. And then Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, Hallie is just getting assists every single night. So I think, you're right that you want to put the clamps down on Cade and then sell the Celtics defense saying that, hey, somebody else come beat us if you can in this game. I really don't have many player props in this game here, McKee, only because, again, there is that blowout factor that if you do back, the Celtics and they're up by 25 points with 8 minutes left or 6 minutes left, that more than likely they're going to pull their starters in this game. But I think the only one I would look at would probably be Bogdanovich over 17.5 points for the Detroit Pistons. I mean, he's been one of the more consistent scorers for this team ever since he has been there.
I like that, and maybe the Celtics take a little bit of tonight off since they have tomorrow. A back-to-back. Yeah, so maybe they take tonight off and let some of the players score. That's why I do like the over overall, but I like that Bogdanovich take definitely.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Before we get over to the next game on the schedule, Let me tell everyone about SGPN, the ultimate New Year's Eve party. It's going to be a live stream party this Sunday over at youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. We'll have live pick'ems, live drafts, live sweats, and of course, prizes. Again, it's going to be this Sunday, New Year's Eve, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the SGPN Ultimate New Year's Eve party. So come join us. Sweat it out with us. We'll be giving away some prizes and having some drawings as well. So it should be a good time. Again, this Sunday, New Year's Eve, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're also brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings has given new customers an exclusive offer just for NBA fans. So this week, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, score an NBA League Pass subscription on us for the rest of the season. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SGP. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting $5 plus score an NBA League Pass on us. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. League Pass reward issued as promo code to redeem subscription and must be claimed by January 15th, 2024. See DraftKings.com/promos for eligibility, deposit restrictions, and terms. Responsible gaming resources. All right, McKee, let's keep the ball rolling here. Let's go to the next game on the schedule. We got the Utah Jazz. They are in New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. Currently over on DraftKings Sportsbook, the Pelicans are sitting as an 8-point favorite with a total of 240 in this game. Looking at the injury report, to start here with the road team, the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are going to have a really clean injury report. Everybody is a go in this game. For the New Orleans Pelicans, Larry Nance Jr. is questionable. He has a right rib fracture, and Cody Zeller is available to play. But other than that, pretty healthy squads here for both the Jazz and the Pelicans. McKee, let's start with the side here. -8 in favor of the home team, the Pelicans hosting the Utah Jazz. What are you thinking?
Am I crazy to like the Jazz plus the points here? I mean, Utah's been playing better. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games, whereas New Orleans hasn't been covering as much. They're 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 games. Am I crazy to take the Jazz plus the points here?
I don't think so. My only, well, not my play, but my play, if you want to back the Pelicans in this game, do it in the first half, because this team is the best team against the spread at home, against the spread, 12-3-1. But if you've been paying attention to the Pelicans over the past couple of weeks or even season long, if you saw the Grizzlies game, they are letting opponents come back in that second half and make it a game. We saw, I think it was John Morant's first game back, that they had a lead in that first half to the Pelicans, and then John Morant had that game winner. They forced overtime to the Grizzlies. Again, they by trailing at the half. I think they were by double digits. And then again, they came back to the Grizzlies and forced overtime and won that game again as well. So I think Pelicans early for me. I think the chat's agreeing with you as well. Bruce Green, he got the +10 on the Jazz. Lewis is on the +8.5 here as well. If Lauri Markkanen's in, as he is tonight here, McKee, I got to look at the Jazz here as well, but I'm going to take the Pelicans first half, and then I like the Jazz full game with you.
I like that angle.
Total 240. What do you think?
Total's gone over in Utah's 8 of last 12 games. Hits over 4, and the over has hit 14 of New Orleans' last 18 games when playing at home versus Utah. That's a high total, but again, am I crazy to like the over?
I don't think so. It seems like the 230, 235, 240 is like the norm now when it comes to these numbers that are being put up by the books. But Like you mentioned, for the Utah Jazz, 3 of their last 4 road games have gone over the total, and Pelicans are healthy, right? Zion's going to be playing, Biot's going to be playing this
Mhm.
game, Lauri Markkanen for the Jazz. So healthy squads, and I don't trust the Jazz to play much defense, especially on the road. So I don't hate the over in this game. I think points are definitely going to be had. Player props, what are you looking at?
I got another under here. Jonas Valanciunas. I'm going to go under 10.5 rebounds. When I first looked at this number, I'm like, ooh, I like Valanciunas here rebounding tonight. But then I remembered the Jazz aren't as bad as in team rebounding as you might think for a quote unquote bad team. They're 4th in team rebounding and 2nd in contested rebounds, where Valanciunas gets a lot of his rebounds. He in his career against the Jazz, he's right around this number, averaging 10.5 rebounds, but he's collected he's right around 10 rebounds for this season, and he's hit this right around like half of his games this overall season. So
Yeah.
I kind of looking at Jonas to not get 10.5, still a high number. I think that the Jazz can collect a lot of team rebounds on this game. So I'm looking to fade Jonas here.
Jazz are the 4th best rebounding team in the
Yeah.
association, and they are allowing the 6th least rebounds to the opposition. And I'm a huge Valanciunas fan, especially on his rebounding prop. But there certain
Same. Yeah.
spots?
Same.
Yeah, there's certain spots where you want to bet on him to get those rebounds. And also, it makes me nervous anytime I do back Valanciunas, because especially with Zion playing in the game. That Zion's not the best rebounder out there, but he's averaging, I believe, I want to say close to 6 rebounds per game, 6.1 rebounds per game thus far this season. He had 11 in the game against the Memphis Grizzlies as well. So the opportunity for other players to take away those rebounds from Valanciunas is there as well. Brandon Ingram, also another player that can rebound the basketball very well. So I agree with you on this one. Lauri is always in my Hall of Fame of player prop betters. He's just been so good in his career. Ever since I think that came over to the Utah Jazz, right? Because he's been that primary scorer for this team on the season. He's averaging 24 points per game, 8 rebounds as well. And against the Pelicans, in the last 2 out of the 3 last matchups, he scored 31 points, and he's had double-digit rebounds as well in 2 out of the last 3 matchups as well. So if you want to look at Lauri Markkanen's points and rebounds to go over in this game, I do like that angle. That's at 32.5. I think that's a really good number for him. So that was the one I was looking at in this game here, McKee. Anything else for this game?
I like that one. No, I got anything else for this one.
All right. Before we get over to the next game on the schedule, let me tell everyone about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy gives you the opportunity to play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long, whether it's in the NFL, whether it's here in the NBA, whether it's on the ice with NHL. College basketball is in full swing, and we're in bowl season for college football. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. Stay tuned at the end of the episode. McKee and I are going to put together a Underdog Fantasy entry for the games here tonight. So you can watch along, you can make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $100. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy using promo code SGPN. And I'd be remiss not to shout out a fan of the show, Mike. Yesterday, I put out a tweet and asked who has not signed up with Underdog Fantasy using our promo code SGPN. And Mike raised his hand, and I said, Mike, if you sign up with a new account for Underdog Fantasy using our promo code, I will toss you a t-shirt of your choice from the App Store. From the merch store of SGPN. And he signed up. He DM'd me. He's going to pick out a shirt, and we're going to get it out to him. So, hey, I'm going to put that challenge out again. So if you haven't already signed up for Underdog Fantasy and you're listening to this podcast right now, use that promo code SGPN. Send me a screenshot, whether it's at SGPN NBA on Twitter or on my Twitter at SportsNerd824. and I'll get you hooked up with a t-shirt from our merch store. Again, promo code SGPN.
And you know
And Rob,
what?
yeah, go
If
ahead.
you, I was gonna jump in real quick. If you've
Yeah.
already signed up, but maybe you haven't signed your wife up yet,
Yes.
that's somebody mentioned that in the chat on our Slack. Sign up your wife, get another bonus.
Yeah, and I signed up my wife's sister yesterday.
Oh, there you
Uh,
go.
yes, yeah. So yeah, get your family involved. If you're in a state that doesn't have Underdog Fantasy, well, man, I know you guys have friends across the state line. So yeah, no, I'm not saying bully them, but nudge them a little bit, get them
Yeah,
signed
bully
up with
them a little
Underdog
bit, just a
Fantasy.
little bit.
Yeah, yeah, just a little bit. Nothing over the top. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets' revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right, McKee, let's keep it rolling here, my man. Next game on the schedule, we got the Indiana Pacers. They are in Shot-Town to take on the Bulls here tonight with a spread in favor of the road team here. The Pacers are 1.5-point favorite in this game with a total of 240.5. Looking at the injury report for this game, let's start here with the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are going to be without Bruce Brown in this game. He is dealing with a right bruise. But other than that, everybody is a go. For the Chicago Bulls, we know Zach LaVine continues to be out. Nikola Vucevic is going to be out for the next 7 to 10 days with a left abductor strain. Torrey Craig is also out for this game. He has right plantar fasciitis sprain. So 3 guys there for the Chicago Bulls that are going to be out. McKee, let's start with the side here. Pacers -1.5 in Chicago here tonight. What are you thinking about the spread?
Yeah, it's interesting. This opened at Pacers -3 and quickly went to Pacers -1.5. And I've even seen some books favoring the Bulls. I think that's just a tale of how these two teams have been trending over the last couple of weeks. The Bulls have looked a lot better, weirdly enough, without Zach LaVine. They seem like they're a happier team on the floor. 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games, whereas Indiana is 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games. I feel like this is really a coin flip game, and the spread reflects that. But you wouldn't have thought that a couple weeks ago, obviously, when the Pacers were making their run to the finals in the in-season tournament.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this a lot on the pod that without Zach LaVine in this lineup for the Bulls, that the Bulls have looked like a completely different team, right? And I keep on saying this to that the guys on the Bulls roster are playing with each other, they're playing for each other. And over the last 4 home games here for the Chicago Bulls, they're 3-1 straight up and 3-1 against the spread. I'm not sure how much this is going to affect the Bulls being without Nikola Vucevic here. But take a look at the Pacers on the road this season. They're playing 500 basketball. They're 7-7 straight up, 7-7 against the spread. They did beat my Rockets the other night, and they got their first road win over the last 5 games, and also a road cover over the last 5 games as well. I'm going to lean with the Chicago Bulls here. I like getting the points at home, number one. I think the one thing that gives me some confidence in this game is that Andre Drummond is going to get the start at that center position. And that definitely gives some rim protection to the Chicago Bulls with guys like Tyrese Halliburton attacking the basket, Benedict Mathurin attacking the basket as well. If he can stay out of foul trouble, I think he can have a monster game here, especially on the boards here. I know we'll talk about player props here in a minute, but I'm going to lean with the Bulls here. Kobe White has been playing well as well. So I'll take the points here with the Chicago Bulls plus the 1.5. McKee, total is sitting at 240.5 in this game. It's a Pacers game. What are you thinking about the total?
I mean, at the first part of this season, right, we just kind of blindly picked the over for all Pacers games, but it hasn't been going that way lately. The total has gone under 4 of the last 6 Pacers games. The total has also gone under 4 of the last 5 Chicago games. So with this higher total, I'm looking at the under. I feel pretty good about it. How about you? Especially with Vucevic out.
Yeah. It makes me nervous taking an under in a Pacers game.
Yeah,
But
they haven't quite been the same team, have they?
yeah, ever since you're right, ever since they came out of the in-season tournament finals, their last 3 road games have all gone under the total. The Rockets game, depending on what number you did get, because it opened at 238.5 and they closed at 240.5. That game ended up with 240. So you could have been on either side of that total in that game against the Rockets. I don't love it, but I'll lean towards the over here. I want to see the Pacers get back to being the Pacers before I start backing overs for them again. But like I mentioned, 3 straight unders on the road thus far for the Indiana Pacers. And you take a look at them over the Bulls at home, not much there either, right? They've been also trending 500 on the total, nine overs, 9 unders, 3 straight unders at home as well for the Chicago Bulls. So lean over, but again, I don't love it. Player props, McKee, what are you looking at?
Yeah, as you mentioned in your intro, Kobe White has been playing a lot better. I was looking at his point total initially, 24.5. That seems too high for me. Hasn't done that in the past 4 games. And he's only through 32 games this season, he's only exceeded that on 4 occasions. But I'm not going to fade that point total just because I hate to fade a point total in a Pacers game, obviously. So I'm going to take Kobe White over 5.5 assists. He's been hotter. So I like his over 5.5 assists tonight.
Kobe White has definitely been filling up the box score for the Chicago Bulls. And you talked about the points, right? But he's also been contributing, rebounding the basketball and assisting the basketball. He's had at least 5 assists in 5 straight games for the Chicago Bulls. He's also had at least 5 rebounds in in 4 of the 5 games. Has Kobe White. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot here a little bit. So Andre Drummond is getting the start for the Chicago Bulls at that center position. What do you think his rebounding prop is at?
Oh my gosh, I didn't look at this at all. What is that? Is that 8.5?
Andre Drummond is at 16.5.
Oh my gosh.
And
I really whiffed on that one.
So and the thing, if you take of the last game where he did get the majority of the minutes for the Chicago Bulls, he finished that game with 25 rebounds. He had 10 of his 25 rebounds were offensive rebounds, but he also finished with 24 points. So as much as I'm tempted to still take the over on him, I'm gonna wait and watch in this game and see how he does, because we know that the Pacers don't really have that true center, presence. I know they have Miles Turner, but Turner's a guy that, likes to hover around the 3-point line and doesn't grab a lot of rebounds. But I think this could be another monster rebounding game for Andre Drummond. It is at 16.5. It's there for a reason. But I think that I'm scared by the number, but would I be surprised if he has another 20 rebound game here tonight? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Anything else for this game, McKee?
That's all I got.
All right, let's keep it rolling here. Next game.
I like that Drummond, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep my eye on that for sure. Next game, we got the Dallas Mavericks on a back-to-back here. They are traveling to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. Timberwolves sitting as a 10-point favorite in this game with a total of 229. Looking at the injury report here for both of these teams, Dallas has not yet one submitted because they do get that extra time to submit their injury report because they played. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, I am seeing Jalen Clark is going to be out for this game. And I do see Karl Anthony Towns is questionable for this game with left knee soreness. Let me see if there was any news that came out about Luka not playing in this game. While you give your handicap here, McKee, 10 points in favor of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, I mean, this number opened at the Timberwolves -8.5. It's gone to -10. Money coming in on the Timberwolves. Makes sense. Minnesota won the first game with these two teams, and Dallas is on the back-to-back. They lost. They're 7-5 against the spread after a loss. Not like that impressive. And Minnesota was routed by Oklahoma City on Tuesday, so they've got to be angry. They got to want to come back and win this game. But with the way Luka has been playing, let's see if he plays or not. But I can't advise picking Minnesota to cover here. So if Luka plays, I do like the Timberwolves to win but not cover. Luka's just been looking great. I mean, 39, 50, and 39 in his last 3 games. He's third in the MVP odds behind Embiid and Jokic, but he's playing like a front runner if he plays.
Yeah, I think for the Timberwolves here, and this was something I was looking at when they had played the Thunder the other night, is that their defense, as great as it's been, it doesn't travel. So thus far this season, I'll put this into context for our listeners here. So at home this season, so overall, I'll say this: the Minnesota Timberwolves have the best defensive rating in the entire association, 108.1. That's number 1 overall. But if we break that down by location, so let's start with with on the road for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Their defensive rating drops to number 12, while they still have the best defensive rating at home this season, which is at at 100.8. So they've been really good at home this season as well. I believe they're 12-1 straight up, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 12-1 straight up at home this season, 8-4-1 against the spread. I just don't trust the Mavericks to anybody outside of Luka to contribute, because like you mentioned, McKee, that it's pretty been the Luka show, and they really haven't been able to win games. Right? We talked about it with Phoenix at the top of the show. I mean, Luka just kind of owns Phoenix, or he's at least in their heads. They beat the San Antonio Spurs, but who's not beating the Spurs right now? But last night, as a prime example, that he scored 39 points, they still lost that game. He scored 28 against the Clippers, lost that game by 9. He scored 38 against the Denver Nuggets. They lost that game by 26. So I think until they don't get Kyrie Irving back, I'm going to continue fading this Mavericks team on the road. I like this team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, at home. They're 12-1 straight up, 8-4-1 against the spread. So I think they bounce back here nicely. I'll lay the points here. I think this line is indicating that Luka doesn't play here tonight. I think 10 is a pretty big number. I think that I don't expect him to play here tonight. So I'll take the Timberwolves here minus the 10. Total 229 here. McKee, what do you think?
I don't have much on the total here. I don't feel confident one way or the other. I'm going to stay away from this one.
Yeah, I'll probably look at the under in this game. Minnesota is only allowing.
Luka's not playing. It's hard to handicap this game without knowing for sure.
Yeah. Minnesota at home is only allowing 101.1 points per game, which is really impressive. And the under in Minnesota's home games this season is 8-5 towards the under, right around 61.5%. So if Luka does play here tonight, obviously that does change the mind on the total here, but I'll lean towards the under. And Minnesota at home, they're only averaging 113 points as well. Like I mentioned, they're really clamping down on the defensive side of the basketball, especially at home. Player props, McKee, anything that you liked in this game?
Yeah, well, I had written down a Luka one, so I don't know if it's going to apply, but I think it's interesting. If he does play, I like him to go under that 37.5 points. He's averaged 25 points in all his career games against the Timberwolves. And as you mentioned, the Timberwolves don't allow many points at home. It's weird to fade Luka with the hot streak he's been on, but if you don't want to go under his points, you maybe look at his assists, go over his assists, because I think he'd be forced to pass a lot more tonight if he does play.
I think this was something you and I talked about, I want to say a couple weeks ago, that I had mentioned that in 13 career games against the Timberwolves that he only had one 30-plus point game, but in that game, he went off for 39 points, obviously without Kyrie Irving. So his usage rate is always going to be through the roof, especially without, Kyrie on the floor. So couldn't talk you off. I love this assist angle, though, that if Luka does play here tonight, then maybe they double team him or, make somebody else beat them, that the assist should rack up for
McDaniels. As Luis Martinez said in the chat, want to watch McDaniels play against Luka, and so McDaniels has been great out on the perimeter. So definitely will be forcing him to pass a lot more.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get over to the next game of the night. We got the Memphis Grizzlies. They are traveling to the Mile High City to take on the Denver Nuggets. Currently, I am seeing a line of a home favorite here in the Denver Nuggets, -7.5. Total sitting at 224.5 in this game. Looking at the injury report, let's start here with the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant is questionable for this game. He is dealing with an illness. And then guys that are out, Brandon Clark, Luke Kennard, and Derrick Rose. All of those guys are going to be out. For the Denver Nuggets, only person that is on the injury report listed out is going to be Aaron Gordon. I'm not sure if you saw the news, McKee, about what happened to Aaron Gordon on Christmas Day, but he got, I don't want to say attacked, but it seems like got attacked by a dog, and he had to get 21 stitches across his face and his hands. So, not sure how long he's going to be out.
You don't see dog attack on the injury report very often.
That would be funny if they actually put that designation dog attack, but they have different classification for you. But let's start with the side here, McKee. -7.5 in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, it'll be a difficult handicap not knowing the status of Ja Morant in this game.
Yeah, really tough to handicap this one without knowing the Ja, because they're Memphis, totally different team with Ja, right? I mean, they are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. That was starting off just with a brutal loss record there. So, but Denver's been really good against the spread recently, 6-3 against the spread in their last 9 games. So kind of either way, favoring the Nuggets, especially if Ja doesn't play or if he's not at 100%. I'll go ahead and lay the points and take Denver at home.
Yeah, Denver at home, 12-2 straight up, 7-6-1 against the spread. They are 9-5 towards the under. And the under has, I know we'll talk about the total here in a second, but 5 straight unders for the Denver Nuggets at home. They haven't played since Christmas Day, where they did get the victory against the Golden State Warriors, 120-114. If Ja Morant doesn't play in this game, I do like the Denver Nuggets, but with Ja Morant, like you mentioned, over the last 5 games, they are 4-1, but with Ja Morant, 4-0 straight up are the Pelicans. I'm sorry, are the Grizzlies with Ja Morant in the lineup. So that just kind of tells you how impactful of a player Ja Morant is to this Memphis Grizzlies team. So if Ja doesn't play in this game, I do like the Denver Nuggets. But if Ja does play, this team doesn't quit, right? Especially in the second half. We talked about it with the Pelicans game that they came from behind, being down double digits and forced overtime in the last game. And then in that first game back for Ja, they he got that game-winning basket. So Morant plays. I do like the Memphis Grizzlies here. If he doesn't, obviously, I think Denver Nuggets does crush this team. Total sitting at 224.5. McKee, any thoughts on the total?
Yeah, not a high total, but the has gone under in 6 of Denver's last 7 games, and the total has gone under in 4 of Memphis's last 6 games. So under has been trending for both of these teams, especially if Ja doesn't play. Like the under here, under for Grizzlies team total if he doesn't play. heading to Denver. Yeah, looking at unders here, even though the point total not very high.
Yeah, I'm on the under here as well. Like I mentioned, the Denver Nuggets at home have been really good defensively. I believe I said 5 straight unders at home so far for the Denver Nuggets thus far this season. Player props, McKee, what are we looking at?
Yeah, this is still a hard one without Ja. I keep saying that, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the Desmond Bane points prop over 24.5. He's hit this the last 3 games. When Ja first came back, he had a couple games not scoring as much, kind of learning how to play with Ja again.
Yeah.
But now has seemed to found his rhythm. So either way, like him to go over this point prop, whether Ja plays or not. He's averaged 28 points in his past 10 games. And he's hit this in 17. He's gone over this in 17 games this season. So I like Desmond Bane here to go over, even though, I like the unders on the total, but like Desmond Bane in this game overall. How about you?
Yeah, I like your angle. What you said that with John Morant back, that he's starting to play off of the ball again, right? And getting up the 3-point shots. I mean, just take a look in the last 3 games for Desmond Bane. He's gotten up 12 3-point attempts and then 14 in each of the last 2 games. So that just kind of tells you, hey, Desmond Bane, go out and score the basketball for us, and Ja will handle the point guard duties now. And he's had 30 plus points in 2 of the last 3 games, and at least 25 plus points in 3 straight games for the Memphis Grizzlies. And again, if Ja doesn't play here tonight, now that scoring responsibility goes back to Desmond Bane, like it was earlier in the season, where Ja wasn't there for this Memphis Grizzlies team. So, yeah, I like that angle. And he's gotten up 20 plus attempts as well over the last 3 games, has Desmond Bane. So I do like that angle. I think without Aaron Gordon in the lineup, I think this might just turn into a Michael Porter Jr. Opportunity, I guess is the word. MPJ over the last couple games here, he had a double-double in the last game against the Warriors, 19 points and 10 rebounds, 22 points against the Charlotte Hornets. In his career against the Memphis Grizzlies, he's only averaging 14 points and 7 rebounds. But I think that if you want to take a look at a rebounding prop here for Michael Porter Jr., I don't hate that angle. It's at 7.5 right now. But that was the one that I was looking at in this game. Anything else you like in this game here, McKee?
No, I think I'm ready to move on.
All right, let's get over to the next game of the night. We'll go to the West Coast. Let's go to the Bay Area. The Miami Heat, they are visiting the Golden State Warriors. Warriors currently sitting as a 3-point favorite in this game with a total of 228.5. Looking at the injury report for the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler is officially listed as questionable for this game. Kyle Lowry is questionable as well, and Duncan Robinson is questionable as well. Guys that are doubtful, Caleb Martin and Josh Richardson both are dealing with a right ankle sprain and then a lower back discomfort for Josh Richardson. For the Golden State Warriors, pretty clean injury report. We know Draymond is going to continue to be out with the suspension, and Gary Payton II is out with the right calf strain. Warriors did play, or both these teams, I should say, played on Christmas Day. The Warriors were in the Mile High City, like we talked about, fell short of winning that game, and Miami took care of business against Philly at home without Joel Embiid. But now these two teams match up in San Francisco here. McKee, -3 in favor of the Warriors here. What are you thinking?
I mean, both of these teams have been a lot better against the spread recently. Miami 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games against Golden State overall. Golden State 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games. Even without Draymond, as you mentioned, and Gary Payton, kind of leaning towards Golden State here, minus the points. Not a big spread. And I think at home they can take care of business here. I don't love it, but that's the way I'm leaning right now. What are you thinking?
Yeah, this Warriors team, I think ever since that Steve Kerr did decide to make the lineup change with putting Jonathan Kuminga and I'm blanking on the guy's name, Pods into the starting lineup, this team has looked completely different, right? And I think that it was about time that he started playing the younger guys in this lineup as well. And I mentioned this as well, as that Klay Thompson is also looking like, the Klay Thompson, I don't want to say of old, of before the injuries, but he's been a contributor for this team. I know he didn't have a great game against the Denver Nuggets where he was only 3 of 12 from the floor, but um, they need to give that support to Steph Curry because he can't just every single night carry this team to victories. And it's nice to see that some of the other guys have been stepping up for this Warriors team. And I know at home this season they have struggled ice against the spread, have the Golden State Warriors where they're only 6-9 against the spread, but they are 9-6 straight up. But they have covered 4 straight games and won 4 straight covers, or have covered 4 straight games and won the game also straight up at home in their last 4 games. So I think Miami without Jimmy Butler, if he doesn't play here tonight, they have been struggling. They have been
He's
good
not
on the
supposed to
road.
play, actually.
What happened? I'm sorry.
I think he's not supposed to play.
Yeah, he's officially questionable here. So I'll lead with the Warriors here. I like the, again, like I mentioned, I like the lineup change that Steve Kerr has made, giving the young guys an opportunity. That then those guys have seized the opportunity here as well. So I like them in a bounce back spot here. I'll take the Warriors minus the 3 here on the spread. Total is sitting at, let's see here, 228.5. McKee, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the total's gone over in Miami's 5 of 6 last games. It's gone over 12 of 18 in Golden State's last. Let's say that again. Gone over in 12 of Golden State's last 18 games. I like the over here. Even without, if Jimmy Butler doesn't play, I think this could just be a scoring fest. How about you?
Yeah, since the 2018 season when these two teams have matched up, the over is actually 8-2, 80%
Yeah.
towards the over. I know the last game they played last season back on November 1st ended with 225 points, but I mean, it just seems historically that these two teams, when they do match up, that the over has been cashing more times than not. So, when we talk about this Miami team, it's that we think that they are that defensive team, and it kind of hasn't been the case this season for this team. They are this season number 13, where they've usually under Eric Spoelstra, especially in the Jimmy Butler era, have been a top 10 defensive rated team. They're a little bit below that this season, but I think I'm with you. I do like the over in this game here. I think it's a little bit conservative at 228.5. Anything else for this game?
Yeah, I was looking at the Bam
Player props. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And I initially came into this thinking, oh, maybe I'll take the Bam over rebounding prop. It's sitting at 9.5 right now without Jimmy Butler and without, Warriors get the stigma of not being a great rebounding team because they don't have like necessarily a big that pulls down a lot. I'm wrong. Warriors are second in team rebounding this season. And Bam in his career collects 7 rebounds per game against the Warriors, which is obviously 2.5 fewer than his current prop total. So I'm actually going to fade Bam tonight and go under 9.5. Don't love fading Bam on rebounding props, but that's numbers say otherwise.
Yeah, I think that again, everything has kind of shifted for this team ever since the Warriors have made those lineup changes, right? I know Jonathan Kuminga has been really good for this team when he is in the starting lineup. He's been rebounding the basketball pretty well as well. He's had at least over the last 5 games, he's averaging 5.2 rebounds. We know Kevon Looney's resume speaks for itself as far as rebounding goes. So, yeah, I could definitely get behind that for sure. Other than that, I pretty much didn't have anything. I mean, if you want like a Steph Curry over points, I again, that's always. I'm not going to talk you
Always
off of
intriguing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't love a lot of player props in this game. Anything else for this game, McKee?
That's all I got.
All right, 2 games left on the schedule here. Let's go to the Northwest. We got the San Antonio Spurs. They are visiting the Portland Trail Blazers. Blazers sitting as a 4.5 point favorite in this game with a total of 236. Looking at the injury report here for the Spurs, Devontae Graham is out with a illness. And that is pretty much it. Everybody else is either on a G League assignment or a two-way player. So Victor Wembanyama is going to play here tonight for the San Antonio Spurs. For the Portland Trailblazers, DeAndre Ayton is out. Shaden Sharp is out as well, and a questionable tag on Chris Murray in this game. So Ayton and Shaden Sharp out. Chris Murray questionable for this game. McKee, let's start with the side here. -4.5 in favor of the Portland Trailblazers hosting the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, an ugly game, right? Not gonna
Portland
be
Bowl
fun, but I just can't back San Antonio at all against the spread. I mean, they're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games, and I would say that the Trailblazers have been, even without even with Ayton out, they've looked better overall. They've covered 3 in their last 5 games. They even beat Phoenix, which I know Phoenix not as impressive as we would have thought. Still a good win. So I'm going to go ahead and back the Blazers at home minus the points.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be betting this game. And then if you are going to be betting this game, maybe you should call the 1-800-GAMBLER number. Yeah. But I mean, like McKee, like you mentioned, this Spurs team on the road this season, 2-12 straight up, 5-9 against the spread. The Blazers at home this season haven't been much better. Trying to pull up their ATS numbers, 4-10 straight up, 5-9 against the spread at home. I think if you do like the Spurs in this game, look at them early because they've been one of the better first quarter teams this season and first half teams. But I think for me, for a full game, I guess I'll take the points with the Spurs. I'm not going to have any money on this game just because we talk about every single game on our podcast here. We're talking about this game here as well, but I really didn't have a feel for this game. This was one of the games that I did cross off of my list when I did see it on the schedule. Do you have any thoughts on the total in this game?
I mean, the total's gone over in 6 of Portland's last 9 games. Total's gone over in 6 of 7 games of San Antonio's. San Antonio don't play any defense. Portland doesn't play a lot of defense. Go ahead and take the over here.
Yeah. Player props. What are you looking
at? Devin Vassell under 20.5 points. He's averaging 8 fewer points against the Trailblazers in his career than that prop total. He scored 3 fewer points in the past 10 contests than his prop total, and he's only hit this in 9 games this season of the 24 games he's played. So I'm going to go ahead and fade Vassell's 20.5 point total.
Yeah, especially with looking like that Victor's going to play in this game. He obviously gets a lot of the shot attempts as well. Kellen Johnson, another guy, likes to get up his shots as well. Devin Vassell has been a guy that I think we talked about it with Valanciunas, right? He's a guy that you probably want to pick in spots to back his points prop. And it's like he has one good game and then he has a really bad game the next night. So against Utah, he had 22 points, 5 of 10 from 3-point land. And then he just kind of follows it up with a bad game. He just hasn't been very consistent. And then on the road this season, Devin Vassell is only averaging 15.8 points per game. So the number may be a little inflated, like you mentioned here, for his points prop here tonight. I guess once Wemby's rebounds do show up on the books here, I'll probably look at that. I don't see it right now, but he finally turned the corner after the beginning of the season on his rebounding prop. And he was just walking into like 12 plus rebounds per game. I know he hasn't done it over the last 2 games that he has played, where he had only 7 against the Jazz and then 5 against the Bulls, but he only played 22 and 24 minutes in those games. So, but I think the magic number for Wemby is that if he plays 30 plus minutes, that he's getting those rebounds. So against the Pelicans, 31 minutes, he had 13 rebounds. Against the Lakers in back-to-back games, he played 31 and 33 minutes, had 15 and 13 rebounds. So I will look at his his rebounding prop here tonight for Wemby. Anything else for this game, McKee?
That's all I got.
All right, last game on the schedule here. We got the Charlotte Hornets. They are in Hollywood to take on the Lakers in this game. Lakers sitting as a 12.5 point favorite in this game with a total of 227. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams. For the Charlotte Hornets, we know LaMelo Ball continues to be out with the right ankle sprain. Gordon Hayward is going to be out for this game. Frank Ntilikina is out for this game as well. Mark Williams is doubtful for this game, and Brandon Miller is questionable for this game. For the Lakers, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Cam Reddish are all questionable. Rui Hachimura is available, and Jared Vanderbilt is probable for this game. So the only questionable tags for the Lakers, AD, LeBron, and Cam Reddish. But we know that AD and LeBron are always on the injury report, and more times than not do end up playing here. McKee, 12.5 in favor of the Lakers here at home. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from betting this one for sure with that 12.5 and, not knowing for sure if AD and LeBron will play, but we think they will. But, Charlotte 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games against the Lakers. But the Lakers are 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games. None of these teams have been playing real well against the spread. Charlotte 0-8 straight up in their last 8 games. So I'm going to go ahead and stay away from this, but I'll go ahead and, if AD and LeBron play, if I have to take a lean, I'll take the Lakers minus the points just because Charlotte has been so bad.
Yeah, the Hornets on the road this season are 3-10 straight up, 5-8 against the spread. They're allowing 122.5 points per game on the road. Not much of a travel spot for the Charlotte Hornets, just because they did play the Clippers back on Tuesday. They did get, I believe they did cover that game. I think it was a last minute basket by Terry Rozier in that game that gave him the cover. But I think my more favorite, I'm going to stay away from the side here just because I feel like the Hornets could probably backdoor this thing. But I think the Lakers team total over is what I would look at here in this game, because the Hornets have been one of the worst road defenses this season. So if you take a look at their defensive rating, the Charlotte Hornets are the second worst defensive rated team in the association, only trailing the Indiana Pacers. And now you're going up against LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis should feast in this game against that lack of front court for the Charlotte Hornets. So I do think that they'll have success on offense, roll the LA Lakers. So I would look at the team total to go over. But do you have any thoughts on team totals or the total in this game?
Yeah, let's see, what do I got for it? I mean, the total's gone under in 6 of Charlotte's last 7 games, but it's gone over in LA's 7 of the last 8 games. So yeah, I'm with you. I like the over here. Don't feel real strongly about it.
I was looking at Anthony Davis's numbers against the Hornets, and he has just absolutely dominated this team. The 2 games in a Lakers uniform, and again, these are numbers from 2019 and 2021. So he hasn't played the Hornets over the last last season, I should say. But Anthony Davis, rebounding wise, over the last 4 head-to-head meetings, 14 rebounds, 19 rebounds, 14 rebounds, and 12. And then he scored at least 29 points in 4 straight games and at least 30 points in 3 of the last 4 games. So if you want to look at a points and rebounds combination to go over for Anthony Davis here tonight, that's at 42.5. I think that he has a big night here for the LA Lakers, whether it's scoring wise or rebounding the basketball. Rebounding's at 13.5. I don't hate that either for Anthony Davis. Anything else for this game here, McKee?
Yeah, I'm looking at Terry Rozier's assist prop. It's sitting at 7.5 right now. You might think, oh, Rozier without LaMelo, he'll have more assists, but he hasn't hit this in the past 5 games. I'm going to go with the under. The Lakers top 10 in defensive efficiency, and Rozier in his career has averaged 4.3 assists against the Lakers. And he's only dished out 7.5 assists on 5 occasions in his 18 games this season. So I'm going to go ahead and fade Rozier's assist prop under 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, he has to take on that scoring responsibility tonight, right? We the guys that we talked about that are out. for this Hornets team, and he's done pretty well against the Lakers, at least head to head. He's at least 20 points in 5 straight games, 20, 29, 20, 23, and 27. His points prop right now is at 24.5. I think that he definitely does show up in this game scoring the basketball. After having a brutal shooting night against the Clippers on Tuesday night, he played 39 minutes in that game, was only 8 of 23 from the floor, 1 of 8 from three-point land, finished the game with 18 points. But I think he does bounce back here tonight for the Hornets, at least offensively, and getting his points here. So over 24.5 points, I don't hate that for Terry Rozier. McKee,
Terry focuses on scoring first, so that's why I like to fade his assist prop.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else for this game?
That's all I got.
All right, that was the last game on the schedule here. Let's get into our lock and dog here for tonight, and then we'll put together our Underdog Fantasy entry. McKee, want to lead us off?
Sure. My lock tonight is going to be Cade under 6.5. Cade Cunningham under 6.5 assists. Prop explained why at the top of the show, but he's only averaged 2 assists against the Celtics in his career. So like the Celtics tonight to take care of Cade in that. And my dog, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the Jazz to beat the Pelicans outright. Yeah, that's going to be my dog for tonight.
All right. So for my lock, I'm just going to take the Pelicans in the first half minus the 4.5. Like I mentioned, they've been the best team against the spread in the first half at home, 12-3-1 straight up. And we talked about it that they're letting teams back in the game in the second half, and you like the Jazz outright. And I think it's kind of correlated where we kind of handicap the game that early on they're a very good team and they let teams back in the second half. We talked about it. They did that with the Grizzlies twice. So I'm going to try to put in my ticket, get out with my money, and then hopefully the Jazz are on top at least in the final score here. For your dog pick here. So at least for my lock, I'm gonna take the Pelicans first half minus the 4.5 for my dog. Let's see here. Not a lot of dogs that I did like outright in this game.
I was having trouble with that too.
Yeah, Bulls are too much of a puppy dog for me. If John Moran was playing, I would have considered the Memphis Grizzlies outright. Yeah. But again, with him being questionable here tonight, I just couldn't get to it. I think that I did a note did come across for the Boston Celtics that no Jaylen Brown tonight, but Jason Tatum is going to be playing in this game. So I am going to just alt the Boston Celtics up to minus 28.5 at plus 270. I was having a conversation with a couple friends when the Pistons played the Bucks. I think this was last Saturday that either the Pistons were going to win outright or the Bucks were going to win by 30 plus points. Like there was going to be no in between. And I think this is a game also that kind of fits that mold that Pistons probably win outright or the Boston Celtics just blow them out of the water. So I'm going to alt, if you want to just alt this up after like 20 plus points and get yourself some plus points prop on that alt spread for the Boston Celtics, I do think they just come out and take care of business against this Detroit Pistons team. I don't think a team wants to be that team that the Detroit Pistons beat to break that losing streak here. But I think the Boston just has too many weapons, and they're such a deep team that they'll come out and take care of business against the Detroit Pistons. So alt the Boston Celtics up. Bruce Green asking if we do like the Tatum points. I think the only thing that scares me is that if it does turn to a blowout, that he doesn't play maybe for a majority of the fourth quarter, and then that's where props really go to die in blowouts. So
agree there.
Yeah. So I would probably stay off of it. So yeah, Pat. Tatum is going to play here tonight. I did see that note come across, but Jaylen Brown is not playing here tonight. Jason Tatum did participate in shoot around. All right, McKee, last order of business before we get out of here. Underdog Fantasy. Let's put together our entry. Again, like I mentioned, underdogfantasy.com. If you don't have an account already, make sure to get an account. Use that promo code SGPN. First deposit bonus of up to $100. And if you screenshot me that you're using our promo code and sign up with an account, we'll get you hooked up with some NBA Gambling Podcast merch, whether it's a shirt, sweatshirt, whatever you like from the NBA Gambling Podcast.
Yeah.
All right, McKee.
Sign up your wives.
Yeah, sign up your family members of whoever it is if you already have an account. So, yeah, definitely help us out.
All right, where do we want to start? I really like. Well, I mean, what do we go? Lower on Cade Cunningham's assists. That was my lock. Any thoughts on that?
So we'll start with that. Let's go with Cade. Lower 6.5 assist here for tonight. I did like Lori here tonight.
Okay, yeah.
Against the Pelicans. So I'll go points and rebounds higher, 32.5. What else do you like?
I mean, maybe I liked the fading Rozier's assists. Also like Kobe White over 5.5 or higher 5.5 assists. Either one of those I'm leaning towards, but do you have any other props you feel strongly about?
I think I like the Terry Rozier lower, and it's this Underdog has it at 7 assists.
Okay.
So I think I like that. Let's do that. All right. So we'll go Cade Cunningham lower 6.5 assists. We'll go Lauri Markkanen points and rebounds higher 32.5, and then we'll go Terry Rozier lower 7 assists. And that $100 entry, if we go 3 for 3, will get you a nice return of $600. Again, underdogfantasy.com. Use our promo code SGPN. And tomorrow, Friday, we're doing a special podcast for the NBA and NFL. So we'll be doing all of Underdog entries tomorrow on the NBA and the NFL Propcast. So join us. We'll be giving away some free merch if you haven't already signed up with promo code SGPN. Really helps us grow the network. And we couldn't do it without your guys' support. McKee, anything else we want to mention, my friend, before we get out of here?
That's it. Just let it ride, baby.
There we go. Make sure you follow McKee on Twitter at the Ryan McKee. You can follow me on Twitter, at SportsNerd824. More importantly, make sure to subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast YouTube channel. And also follow us on Twitter at SGPNNBA. We'll be back tomorrow at the usual time with Terrell and Scott for the Friday schedule. Till then, good luck with your picks here tonight. Let's break these books off and let it ride.